I just I would like to leave them with this. Always, you have a lot of power, a lot of power. Don't foolishly give it away. Don't keep giving it away. What will people say? What if I fail? What if people laugh at me? What if I'm judged? You're giving away your power. All of us can change the world. All of us can change the world. We have the power. It is up to you to decide first whether you want to use that power or not. Secondly, are you going to use it for good or for evil?
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the PeopleHum interview series. This is your host Anushka Rajesh at PeopleHum. PeopleHum is an end-to-end one-view integrated human capital management automation platform, the winner of the 2019 Global Cody Award for HCM that is specifically built for crafted employee experiences and the future of work. We run the PeopleHum blog and video channel, which receives more than 400,000 visitors a year, and we also publish several interviews with well-known names globally every month. We have with us today Ruchi Singh. Ruchi is a keynote speaker, personal leadership mentor for executives, professionals, and corporates, as well as a talk show host. She now brings the three facets of leadership, personal, professional, and leadership by association together in her work with clients and her speaking engagements. She has presented talks at prestigious events like United Nations and Women Changemaker Summit. She has also been awarded the Powerhouse Global Award 2019, and she was also invited to serve as a Changemaker Ambassador at the She Creates Change program by Change.org. She has been featured in a documentary, and Ruchi also works with her clients to engage this quality to help them just reach their highest potential as a business and personal leader. She has recently been honored an award in the name of former President of India, Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan Award 2020 for her contribution towards the nation's development. Her book is releasing on Jan 12, 2021. The documentary which Ruchi is a part of has also won the ARFF Amsterdam Award and has officially been selected in the New York Lit Off Film Festival 2020. Thank you so much for taking out the time to talk to us, Ruchi. We're so happy and honored to be interviewing you today.
Thank you so much, Anushka. That was a lovely introduction, and it is my pleasure and honor to be part of this interview. And I think you guys have a presence in a lot of countries and have a whole lot of podcasts. So I would like to say hello to all the audiences and thank you again for having me.
Thank you very much. The pleasure is absolutely ours. So, diving right deep into the interview, Ruchi, the first question I really had for you was you've been through a lot in your life and you really inspire a lot of us, including me personally. So, you've also stated that you're in the business of courage. Could you just elaborate on this concept more for our audience?
Yes. Thank you so much. That's a brilliant question. And I have been interviewed a lot, and somehow nobody has ever asked me this question. So I'm very happy. Let me share a very small part of a video. This is my speech at the UN, and then I'll tell you why I'm sharing it. All right?
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mahatma Gandhi said something very powerful. He said, fearlessness is the first requisite of spirituality, for cowards can never be moral.
Thank you so much for letting me share that. So that was just a tiny bit of my, speech, which I gave at the United Nations. So getting back to the question as to why, why do I say that I'm in the business of courage, right? So, mostly what happens, Anushka, that people can very easily connect courage with war. You can be courageous when you are fighting a war, right? Like Kargil and all. However, like Mahatma Gandhi said, and that's why I wanted to share that clip, that even spirituality takes courage, right? We need courage to walk out of an abusive relationship, to ask for that promotion, to leave a safe job, to try a new venture, to ask for, even to ask out a man or a woman whom we find attractive. So everything takes courage. And I cannot put it better than Winston Churchill when he said that courage is rightly esteemed to be the first of the human qualities, because it is this quality which guarantees all others. And I very firmly believe that without courage, there cannot be any empowerment, no change, no innovation. You need courage for all that, right? And funny thing is, like, I didn't start with saying, okay, I'm in the business of courage. It was the other way around. People started telling me. So, like, once I had just finished my keynote, and a couple came and they're like, we want you to mentor us. So I thought maybe because they were a couple that they wanted something to do with relationship. And they were like, no, we have everything planned and ready to start a venture. They were both in IT. They said, we just need you to handhold us to have the courage to take that next step. So, like the word courage kept popping up. Like whenever I got on the stage and shared my story, people were like, thank you so much. It takes courage to share your personal story. Uh, then, like you mentioned in the introduction, I was invited to be part of a documentary, which has now won an award at Amsterdam Film Festival and is an official selection at New York Film Festival. And I was invited to represent hope and courage in that documentary, right? Even though it deals with gender violence. Again, I was invited to speak at the United Nations, right? And all I was doing all this while was sharing my story to create awareness on an issue which impacts millions of people all over the world, men, women, children, everyone. And I never thought of it as, oh, I'm doing something very brave. So it was the reverse. Then when people started talking about courage, 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 I was like, I'm doing something which deals with courage. So courage is at the heart of everything I do. And I realized something, when I get on stage and I share my personal story of surviving violence, surviving domestic violence, it is almost as if I'm naked because I'm the most vulnerable out there. And it was scary the first time I did it. It was very scary. And even now, whenever I share that part of it, it is very uncomfortable. I would ideally not want to talk about it, but I do it because my mission is to create awareness about it, right? But what I realized was that when we lead by embracing our vulnerabilities, our failures, and by sharing a not so perfect story, everyone out there on Facebook and even LinkedIn, everywhere, they're perfect people. But in reality, are we perfect? No. So when someone goes out there and say, hey, look at me, I'm not really perfect. I have had my share of failures and little successes, that connects with people. And it actually provides a safe place for others to be vulnerable, for others to share their story, which is not very pretty. And by sharing that, I didn't realize, but I was inspiring them to choose courage in their own life. Yeah, so like I'm a communication coach, right? Have you noticed, Anushka, like there are times when you want to speak up in a meeting or anything in a personal relationship and you hold yourself back? What happens is we lose power at that time. We become, as a leader, as a human being, we become slightly lesser. We become important as a leader. And that's why, as a mentor, I help people find their own voice and, even in communication, become impactful, meaningful communicators. So, yes, that is what I mean when I say I'm in the business of courage. And courage is uncomfortable. Believe me, it is uncomfortable, but courage changes the world. And it changed mine, right? Like, why would you otherwise interview me? So, go ahead, choose courage.
Wow, that was great. That was such an enlightening response. And you clearly are an inspiration to so many, including me. And congratulations on the success of your documentary and the great, wholesome journey and experiences that you've had along the way, Ruchi.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So, going on to the next question, you've also had a talk show where you really talk about the three facets of leadership: personal, professional, and leadership by association. So, in light of the pandemic, do you think all these three facets have really converged even more? And how do you think we can efficiently handle all of them?
I think, actually, they all are always connected. right? It cannot be that you are a leader, and I'm not talking about a designation like you are a CEO. You can be a CEO and be a lousy leader. So not that. But leader in the real sense of the word, it cannot be that you are a leader in your professional life and you do not carry those facets in your personal life, or vice versa. And mostly it happens, whatever you are interested in, somehow you will end up reading more about it, connecting with people like that, researching on that, right? That is leadership by association. So I think they're always in a way intermeshed. Now, yes, I think with in view of pandemic, yes, it has all, it is the need of the hour, right? Because what happens is, and let me quote Martin Luther King, one of my all-time favorite leaders and inspiration. He said, the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. And whenever we face challenge, controversy, is the time we actually realize our true personality, right? Otherwise, if everything is going fine, we might think, oh, I'm so brave, I'm so cool, I'm such a understanding person filled with gratitude. And one person is rude to you, and you're like, how dare they? Suddenly everything else falls apart. So, of course, pandemic has made us, put us in a situation which was unthinkable. It was unplanned, unthinkable, and a lot of us were very badly impacted. Millions have died. A lot of us, including me, were impacted work-wise, monetarily. We all took a hit, right? So yes, it it has happened. But like I said, these are the times when you actually realize if you have it in you or not. Um, and like a lot of times, people think personal leadership is more like personal characteristics, right? And professional leadership is more about vision, strategy, and all that, which is to a certain extent true, because in corporate world, maybe, or if even if you're running your own business or entrepreneurship, whatever, you do need a vision and strategy and everything. But if you must have, leadership is a potent combination of strategy and character. These are not my words, by the way. But if you must be without one, choose to be without strategy. Always choose character first, because like I said, if you do not, if the character is not there in times of immense stress, you will not do the right thing, right? Now, coming back to the question as to how can we handle it better. See, first of all, you have to have a good mindset. I'm not saying a positive mindset, right? Because that's such a mangled word right now. Good mindset. A mindset is like your attitude, and like a set of mental attitude which will define how you respond to a given situation. One person can go into depression and commit suicide. In the same situation, another person can actually, take a stand against racism and become Mahatma Gandhi, right? So it is the mindset. So you have to be even more careful. People sometimes somehow think that mindset is something very subtle, which it is, and it people have it or not, but you have to work at it daily. So if you wake up and you're feeling, oh my God, the world has come to an end, it is up to you to take a step back and say, is it end of the world because I'm alive? So if it is not end of the world, first of all, let me not sink into it further, and let me not share it with the rest of the people around me and make it and pull them down. Little things like that. It's a everyday thing. You have to work on it. Especially, I'm just trying to stick to the year we have had. A lot of us were under tremendous pressure. So we had to take care of it. We had to get up every day and specifically look for reasons. If nothing else, just be happy that when there's so many people who have died, and we were getting those numbers, so many people died in Italy, so many people died here in US. be grateful that you are alive. And if you're very blessed, be grateful that all your loved ones are alive. Little things like that. It needs a lot of hard work, but having a powerful mindset, a resilient mindset, is a requirement for leadership, be it personal or professional. Because in this thing, we faced a personal leadership crisis and also corporates. A lot of companies went through a lot of, like I know friends who were running businesses and who have lost actually crores because the whole infrastructure came to a standstill. So mindset will get you through that. So that is there. Then second thing is energy management. Again, when you're low, you have to ensure that you're not, it is very easy to give up and say, let me share my own example, and I will just stick to professional example here. After I was invited to speak at the UN last year in February, right, 7th or 8th. And after that, my calendar was filled with keynotes all over the world. Just in one go, the world went into lockdown. The whole calendar got wiped out, right? So from a professional point of view, it was a massive hit, because when that gets wiped out, the monetary aspect gets wiped out, right? Now it is very easy to then sink down into depression or give up or become very crabby, like word, I mean, it is so unfair. You have to work on your energy, and when I say energy, do little things, do a little bit of breathing, conscious breathing, do a little bit of exercise, just 10 minutes of exercise. And now science has proven these things, like pranayama and all are being researched all over the world, Harvard. And exercise, it releases the right kind of dopamine and all, which helps. So take care of that. Energy management is required, because if you are a leader, whether you're working or you're at home, if your energy is low, you will just crash and go into mental depression. We can't have that. Then have very strong support system, and this works in the professional world also. You are a professional, so you realize the power of network, right? And when things go haywire, you have to network even more. And I don't mean network always for a ulterior motive. Like this year, I hardly networked for work. I actually reached out to all the people I knew and checked on them. Are you all right? And I had no intention, and I never asked, oh, can we do something together? Nothing. I just wanted to check that if they're all right. And there were so many people who reached out to me, and that helps us. And what happens is, in future, people remember. And when the right opportunity comes, they will say, hey, why not reach out to Anushka when she reached out to me? This is how world works, both in personal and private, professional life. So these are some of the things, I feel, because your question was, how can we handle it better, right? So that way. And another thing, one thing I've maintained is, when things are going very haywire, suppose you're in a bad relationship, and if you keep Googling the divorce rates in the world, how many people are miserable, how many people have killed each other, what is happening is you're adding to your own trauma, and you somehow will start connecting because you're looking for that. But you have to again consciously maybe search for people who made something out of them during difficult times, and you will feel energized. That is another form where you gain energy. So these are a few of the things I can recommend, because I do them personally. Yes. And can I share the name of my show?
Sure.
Yes. So my talk show is called Ruchi Singh Talks. It is on YouTube.
Okay.
I thought I'll share it.
That's great. I'm sure, like, I personally would immediately after our interview go and Google it, and I'm sure our audience are going to do that as well. And Ruchi, thank you so much for that elaborate response. I can't agree more with you how it's really the need of the hour to adapt and be agile during times of change and just be better coping and resilient. So completely agree with you on that one. Even I love the part where you spoke on mental health and mental well-being. It's really imperative today. So thank you so much for putting things into perspective. So going on to the third question, Ruchi, Sometimes leaders are often afraid of saying or doing the right things in fear of judgment. So, how would you suggest, leaders tackle and eventually get over this fear?
Okay, let me say one thing, all right? Anyone who does not do the right thing because of fear of being judged is not a leader, right? Because leaders are very okay being uncomfortable. That's one of the primary jobs of a leader. You're not in the job of pleasing people, you're in the job of getting things done, which is beneficial for, the greater good, right? And like I had said earlier also, the person may hold very senior titles like a CEO, VP, India head, Asia Pacific, all that. That is not leadership, right? Because it's not a leadership is an attribute. It's not a title, right? And now another, okay, let me say something. I love this line. Being responsible sometimes means pissing people off. These are not my words again. These are the words of Colin Powell, right? Um, because one of the key criterias of being a leader is that you take responsibility. Leaders are responsible. Whether you're doing it in your personal life or professional life, you have to be responsible, good, bad, or ugly, right? So it's about leader. I love that line. Now, since you have asked what are my suggestions to help, in fact, I made a video which is on YouTube. Anyone want, they can check it out. It's fear of failure. But I'll share something which is not there on the video. So one is, let's understand the connection as to why we fear something. Like if you, let's assume, suppose you fear being judged or you fear failing, right? Why? Because we associate fear, failure, being judged. It is a type of failure, right? If people are laughing at you, you assume you're a failure, right? We associate it with pain. Nobody likes the idea of being ridiculed. Nobody enjoys. People may learn and make something powerful out of it, but when you're failing and failing miserably, and I know something about that, you're not enjoying it. It is a terrible time of your life, right? So people instinctively shy away from fear because they associate it with pain. A lot of times, suppose someone is in a bad relationship, a lot of times they don't leave because they are fearful of what will people say. They'll say, oh, she used to pretend to be so good, look, she's getting divorced or whatever, right? People don't start a venture, or people don't ask for promotion just because, and that is something I used to counsel people when I was in HR. You have to ask for your promotion if you deserve it. If you feel you deserve it, ask, right? But people don't ask. They will crib later having coffee. Oh, I'm so unlucky. But you do not have the courage to ask. Again, that word courage. Because you fear that maybe the boss will turn around and say, hey, you promotion, why? You're not good enough. So we are, in a way, instinctively protecting ourselves. And it is very critical to understand this connection, because we can only do something about it when we understand why we are shying away from fear. Now, I'll share one exercise which people can do. And let me tell you one thing which I tell everyone. I can share anything, even God can come down and share the best tip. Ultimately, it's up to you. Whether you do it or not, it's up to you. And it'll only work if you work, right? So now when I say you, that's just the way of saying, not you personally. So if you are holding yourself from doing something because of some fear, and maybe all of us have our own fears, write it down. Write it down, whatever you fear. So maybe you fear speaking on a public platform. It's a very big fear for a lot of people, very senior people in organization, right? So write it down that this is my fear. Now, write down what is the worst that can happen. Suppose I get on stage and I don't speak well or I forget. What is the worst that can happen? Are they going to kill me? Whatever, just write and be very honest, because You have to be honest to yourself. Why do you fear it so much? Where is that pain point? Understand that. Some people fear a certain thing, but when they do this drill down, they'll be very shocked that actually they feared public speaking because of something that happened 10 years back, or something someone laughed or whatever. I'm just giving an example. So write down, right? Now, once you do that, you have to keep asking, if I do not do this out of fear, what am I losing? What am I losing? If I cannot share my story, what am I losing? I am losing a whole lot. So can I take the chance of people actually judging me? And I took a chance, because a lot of people said, do not share your story. People can be very cruel. And I was scared. I'll be honest, I was very scared. But I took that chance. I was ready to face that ridicule. And they could have ridiculed me, but I wouldn't have known unless I got on that stage. So keep doing that, and then do the cost benefit analysis. So that is one thing I can share now, because whatever drives you will define your life. If it is fear, it will define your life. These are not cliches, these are actual things, right? Another thing is, find a powerful role model. Study them, quote them, keep their quotes handy, paste it if it works. Look at how they handle their challenges. So whenever I'm down, I'll read something, I go and listen. Actually, I'm more of a listening person. I'll go and listen to Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream, or President Obama's Yes We Can, like the energy, yes we can. So that helps, and these are actual things which work. Right? So take courage. If you do not have courage, take courage from your role model. It could be anyone. It could be your parents, anyone. Just take courage from somewhere, take inspiration, and then go ahead, do it. Because like I said, I can only share tips, but ultimately, suppose if you're scared of public speaking, you will still have to speak. There's no other way of getting over it, right? So do that. One person I'll suggest is, okay, now this person is like stuff the legends are made of. And I can bet you that every person who's slightly well read and who's not living under a rock knows this person. Steve Jobs, right? He is one of the most successful business leaders we have, right? Look at his monumental failure. He co-founded Apple, and he was thrown out of the company he had founded. And when successful people fail, they fail on the world stage. Everyone is like, look at Steve Jobs. He thought he's this, he's that. Now look how he's fallen, how mighty have fallen. From there, what did he do? He went ahead, created Pixar, came back, and from near bankruptcy, took Apple to be one of the most successful businesses ever. I think for straight 8 years, I'm not very sure, it was world's most valuable brand, right? So, and he was so judged. Even now, if you Google, you'll find awful things about him. Could he care? If he cared, would I be giving his example, right? So, yes, so that is one thing. Another thing is, this is something which I have learned from Sri Ravi Shankar, the founder of Art of Living. And he had shared it in a meditation, and it is beautiful. You observe your fear. When I say observe, when you are fearful, there would be some sensation somewhere in your body. Mostly it'll be in your gut, that clenching feeling, right? So you observe that. Just keep observing, nothing. After a while, what will happen is, keep observing, keep observing. Fear is an emotion, and it will turn into a sensation. So it is already, from a very subtle thing, it is becoming less subtler and easy to handle. And then when it transforms into that, after a while, it will disappear. If you just keep sitting and observing it, you try it out for yourself, but it works. Because when I heard it for the first time, I tried it, and I was doing it for some other emotion, but it worked for me. And it is a meditation technique. What happens is the emotion turns into a sensation, and then the sensation gets released. I wish I could explain it more scientifically, but some things you have to do, and science can catch up later, right? Yeah. So one is that I always try to give tips which are, which people can do. If I say, oh, be brave, don't worry. If you didn't worry about people judging, you will not be asking the question, right? So the last thing I say is, people who want to judge you will judge you. Take it from me, right? And even if you, and it could be that you're playing it safe, playing it by all the rules, but you still be judged, right? So my point is, we can also fail at doing something we do not want to do. So why not give ourselves the chance of doing what we really want to do?
Wow, that was such a great response, and I'm just blown by now, especially the way you mentioned the meditation, and you need to feel the sensations, and you also mentioned the art of journaling and even mindfulness of being present and recognizing and being aware of what you fear and then working on that. Great, love the response, and I completely agree with you, Ruchi.
Thank you. Thank you
So
so much.
yes. So going on to the next question, as someone who really advocates a positive mindset, would you say it can be the single determining factor sometimes that really accounts for a company's success?
Okay, so actually, I've never talked about positive mindset. Never in an article. I have never talked about positive mindset in any of my videos. I don't talk about positive mindset because there is a reason. Positive mindset has become a very misused word. It has almost become dangerous. A lot of people I connect with, they confuse positive mindset as being insanely happy, right? And it is very damaging. Suppose you have gone through a trauma, right? And I have gone through a trauma. I almost lost my life. So I know what trauma feels like. And if at that time, instead of being sad, that's the natural response, and grieving, if you force yourself, you keep denying it. Oh, no, no, I'm so happy. I'm very strong, positive mindset. What are you doing is you're actually suppressing those damaging emotions somewhere in your psyche, and it will come out. It needs a release. So it would have come out naturally if you had taken out time to feel sad for some time. See, if someone dies, you cannot say I'm positive, so I'll not feel sad. If you are connected, you will feel sad, and it is okay to feel sad. The problem is if you continue with that feeling for years and years, right? But when it has happened for a certain amount of time, you have to grieve. Get it out of the system naturally. Then once you start healing, then you start working, looking at ways, strategies, thinking like, now what do I do? So that's the reason why I'm very wary of using this positive mindset word, right? Because it's a very misunderstood concept now. And when handled wrongly, it actually turns into a lot of mental health issues. A lot of mental health issues come out because you have been suppressing your emotions for years, right? So having said that, because I wanted to make it clear, I don't talk about positive mindset, but I believe in having a proper right kind of mindset. And mindset itself is a very powerful thing in determining the course of your life, course of your organization which you're leading. Whether it's the right mindset, positive or negative, it will have an impact. So we agree that mindset is a very powerful concept, right? Now, I will agree that the right mindset plays a very critical role in any company's success. But that is, according to me, not the only criteria. Because what happens is, even if you have the right mindset, if you have the right intentions, you make the blueprint, even if you strategize. I'm sharing a very simplistic example. A lot of other things will come into play. Very, down to the tax kind of thing. You will still have to have a proper plan, a vision. Since we are talking about business, you will have to have a vision. What is it that you as a company want to achieve? What is the legacy which you want to share with the world? That vision, because what happens is everything then flows from that vision, right? Now, if your vision is to, there is a very famous example. Okay, let me share that. I hope I'm not taking a lot of your time.
No, no, no.
Okay. Now, Steve Jobs, right? I'll keep coming back to Steve Jobs. Like, to me, he's a legend, right? His passion, when he was asked in an interview, his passion was not profit. His passion was not to be world famous. He couldn't care less. His passion was to build an enduring company which could focus on making innovative products, giving the end customer the most amazing experience they could. That was his vision. And he also said something. He wanted to create a company, because I'm paraphrasing, I don't remember exact words, that he wanted people who were working at Apple to be motivated to make great products. Nowhere has he talked about profit, right? Now, when he was thrown out of the company and John Scully came, and he was there from 1983 to 1993, 10 years. Apple went down. It almost finished, and that's why they had to, eat humble pie and get Steve Jobs back. And from there, Steve Jobs made it to one of the most valuable and most legendary companies ever. Now, John Scully's main thing was on profit. His focus was profit. It's a different matter that Steve Jobs made the company extremely profitable, but his vision was never profit. So you have to be very clear about what your vision is. But then again, it is flowing from your mindset, right? So mindset was there, but then he had to articulate it. Then you have to then get on other things, you have to have empathy for your end customer. Are you giving good products? Is it a wonderful experience they are having? You have to have blueprints, you have to strategize, you have to have a great team in place who will get work done, and who will, again, the end, because if the vision is kept in focus, you're always working towards that vision, great products, or it could be great profit, whatever. So great products, right? So now it will drill down, flow down. Then responsibility. You have to take responsibility. You cannot say, I want to be a leader, but I'm not responsible. Because if you are not responsible, if you do not have the courage to take responsibility, you're not a leader. So these are some of the things I can, think of. It can be a very detailed answer, but these are the things I'll leave you with.
That's great. Firstly, I apologize for the wrong question. And secondly, I again agree with everything, and how mindset really plays a really crucial role and is the founding and the foundation of a company's success. And it's really values like trust, honesty, accountability that really matter in the end. And it's, as you said, it's also really imperative to align vision and mission for an organization's success. Couldn't agree more with you on that one.
Thank you.
So thank
Thank
you,
you so much.
Ruchi. Just to kind of now wrap this interview up, do you have any final sound bites you'd like to leave our audience with?
I just I would like to leave them with this. Always, you have a lot of power, a lot of power. Don't foolishly give it away. Don't keep giving it away. What will people say? What if I fail? What if people laugh at me? What if I'm judged? You're giving away your power. All of us can change the world. All of us can change the world. We have the power. It is up to you to decide first whether you want to use that power or not. Secondly, are you going to use it for good or for evil? So that's what I would like to leave everyone with.
That was such a great ending note. Thank you for that last bit of strength and positivity that radiated from your side, Ruchi. And it was an absolute honor, and I had a fun time interviewing you today. Thank you
Same here.
so much for those lovely insights.
Thank you so much, Anushka. It was my pleasure. I had a lovely time talking to you. And thank you again for having me, for inviting me.
The pleasure is absolutely ours. Really hoping to do a second version of this sometime in the future. And till then, we shall surely stay in touch.
Yes, we will. Yes. All
You
right.
safe and have a happy and healthy time ahead of you.
Oh, yes, you too. And a very happy new year.
Same to you. Wishing you and your kin the same. Thank you very much, Ruchi. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.